I think this is just gonna have to work for our visuals because the lighting sucks. And if I don't do this right now, I'm never gonna do it. Welcome to Discovering Delight, a podcast by Siye Dlamini. Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Discovering Delight. My name is still Siye, and thank you for joining me today for yet another yep session. Weird location, lighting is weird, we're going to ignore that. And in as much as I'm recording this, I don't know when this is gonna get edited because I have such a backlog of stuff that I've recorded and I just haven't had the time to edit just because work is dragging me by the nipple. Like I'm on the floor by my nipples right now. So I haven't really gotten around to focusing on any of the personal things that I want to do apart from something that we're going to talk about today, which is my drama club. So yeah. I don't know what that was, but yeah, we'll just ignore the shitty lighting, the weird lighting, excuse me. Trying not to curse on here anymore. I'm just trying to be a better person. But Discovering Delight is a podcast where I speak about all the things that bring me joy. And one of the things that's been bringing me so much joy lately, I don't know why I can't speak, but one of the things that's been bringing me so much joy lately is Coyi Drama Club. So for those who do not know, if you don't follow me on socials or any of that good stuff, I started a drama club and it's called Coyi. And for the Swazis or Nguni language speakers in the room, you're probably familiar with Kwasugasugela, Koyi, or Kosi, depending on what Nguni language you speak. And that's the inspiration behind the name of this drama club. Because we're doing theater and drama and storytelling, it just made sense to go with that name. And I did a bunch of research and it just came to me like one random day because I really suck at naming things. If there's one thing you need to know about me, is the fact that I just suck at naming things. I just feel like names are too permanent for me to commit to, and I just have a lot of ideas that like naming things is really hard for me. So I struggled with the name of this drama club for a while, and then one day it just came to me. And I love Koyi versus Kwesuga Sugela because that was a running contender in the sense that Koyi is said by the people who are receiving the information that's being presented, right? So it's basically like a call and response. So the narrator says Kwasuga Sugela, which is kind of like once upon a time. If we wanted to translate to something equivalent in English, I think it would be like once upon a time. And then, however, then like your audience, when you say Kwasuga Sugela, responds, just to signal that they're paying attention to you, to signal that they are interested in what you have to say, the audience responds by saying Koyi. And that's a signal that the story can continue and you can tell it to us and we are listening. So it kind of has that communal feel or element to like the storytelling aspect. It's not like a passive engagement with stories. It means that we're all active participants in the stories that are being shared and that are being taught to us. So basically that's the inspiration behind the name, if any of you were interested. But yeah, so I started this drama club and it has been a passion project of mine for years now. I kept going back to it year by year. And I remember I wrote the first draft for it in like 2018. And as far as I remember, I struggled to find a space or also to get funding for it. And so I just kind of had to let the idea simmer and lay dormant for a while. I didn't look at it for years until like sometime last year. I want to say nearing the end of last year, it came back to me, and I reached out to CISO who is the vice chairperson of the theater club, and I spoke to him more about it because I really wanted to do it this time, and I just felt like I needed, I don't know, something was happening last year towards the end of the year where I just felt like I needed to go back to myself and also go back to the theater. And for those that do not know, I am a theater kid, right? And I've always been in a performance for as long as I can remember, for as long as I've been alive. I just found myself on stage, and I loved being on stage and even backstage. I think just that's where my love and production, like my creativity and all of those good things, my creative juices kind of flowed. Is it flowed or flew? What's the past tense of flow? I don't know. But that's just where I found myself most comfortable creatively, right? Doing performances, drama, theater type stuff. And I did theater all through college as well, like all through my schooling year. Like I did drama. I was always in school plays. And then in high school, because my school had drama as a subject, I did drama. And then in IB we had theater as a subject, so I did theater in IB, higher level. And then when I was in college, I studied political science. However, I made it a point to take theater courses every semester, right? Because that has always been a passion of mine. I always say that like the theater is my home. Like it kind of like it saved me, it brought me so much joy. I feel like a large part of my confidence and where I grew that sense of confidence or like self-confidence was in the theater, because I am technically a very shy person. I know it doesn't seem that way because, like, you know, what kind of shy person puts themselves in front of the world and records themselves and all these things, is so comfortable speaking? But I think I am in person a very shy person. I'm an introvert as well, although I love to yap, but like I'm very introverted. I yap with my people. And I feel like the theater as a space allowed me to kind of like be more expansive and just like explore different parts of my identity, I guess, and parts of myself, and express myself in ways that I wouldn't typically do in real life, right? And I was allowed or given the space to explore. And therefore I loved it deeply. I love it down. So for the longest time, I really wanted to start this project because of what drama and theater did for me as a child growing up, who had somewhat of a challenging childhood, who had a lot of things happen to them, like traumatic events happen in their lives, in their life at a very young age, and who was socially awkward, who was shy, who was intimidated by a lot of people and a lot of things. So it allowed me just to feel free and feel normal. So yeah, and basically that's the inspiration. And I know for a lot of people, it may have come as a shock to see me market this like thing. Just because I think a lot of people outside of the people that I went to school with and outside of my friends don't know that side of me, that I'm deeply passionate about theater and the arts in that sense. And don't know that I love to read plays. Like in high school, my best friend and I used to literally go to the theater library and pick up plays and read them for each other, right? Don't know that I have this extensive experience in the world of playwriting and directing and performance. And yeah, so it was very interesting for me to show this part of myself, or to share this part of myself with the world, or the people that are like within my community overall, outside of my friends, family, and maybe people that I went to school with. So yeah, and just creating a space for high school students to come and explore themselves, their love for the arts, whatever it looks like. Like, I have people in the drama club who are more interested in dance than they are in like theater and drama, right? I have people who are interested more in spoken word. So it's just been such a fascinating experience, and it's been something that has been bringing me so much joy. In terms of, we've had 2 sessions so far, and I love my kids so much. Like, I love them so much because all of them, in some way, shape, or form, have really been passionate about this. They just didn't have the space to kind of like express that passion or have some level of guidance in their exploration of that side of themselves, right? Because like a bunch of them, when I spoke to them, they mentioned the fact that they started some kind of like a performance club at their schools. So to think that like so many young people actually do have a love for the performance arts, they just don't have the space in which to express and share that love, has been something that has really just felt, it's just been tugging at my heartstrings, right? And I just felt so grateful to be able to create this thing and create an environment where we can come and kiki man and talk drama and theater and like explore our creative visions and passions in this way. Like, the kids have been sharing some of their written materials with me, love it down, and I'm just really, really grateful for this amazing opportunity and the chance to share space with them and get to work with them and collaborate and learn, as well. Because in as much as, yes, I did do theater, I'm not a teacher, right? So I'm very intentional about the fact that like we are all just sharing information and we're growing together. So I am growing. I don't take this as a thing of like I'm coming here with all the experience in the world. I think I'm really fortunate and really grateful to have gone to institutions that had this as a subject, and I was able to really like hone my craft and experience and kind of get like somewhat of the foundational education around all of these things, and get like some level of guidance. And that's how I see this thing. I'm just here to guide and facilitate, and not necessarily to like preach and tell people that this is how they should be expressing themselves or whatever. But yeah, I just wanted to share a little bit about that. So we've been meeting every Friday since the 21st of Feb, and I'm just really, really deeply grateful. Like, when I remember even tweeting last year that like 2025 is the year I return to the theater, because I haven't been kind of exploring this part of myself for the past, I want to say, 3 years, 22, 23, 24. Yeah, for the past 3 years since I graduated from university. So it's just kind of been like that thing that like is a really deep passion of mine, but I haven't had the chance to explore it. And for the longest time, I thought about like what that would look like, and I was like, you know what? I want to create a safe space for people, in the same way that like I had such a so many safe spaces in the theater growing up, and I had like mentors and people that like literally instilled this love of this thing to me. And I know Swaziland is really not like a big theater hub at the moment. Maybe it was before, but it's coming back, you know, with the theater club having such young and innovative board members currently instated. I think so many good things are going to happen in that space, and it's just a matter of like tapping into them. Of course, there's been things that have already started happening, and I think if anything, they could use our support. And I think the creative and performance arts over space overall could definitely use our support. So yeah, I just wanted to share that little part about something that's been happening to me in these past couple of weeks. Obviously, it has taken a lot of planning and work, and it's still taking a lot of planning and work, which is also another reason why I feel like I can't seem to find time to edit, because when I'm not doing like client work, like business work, which is the thing that's paying my bills and the thing that is funding this project, because I am self-funded, and I think something that I wanted to talk about actually is the idea of just starting, right? And I think for the longest time, this wasn't a thing that I started. Like I said, I started thinking about it in 2018, and then I tried to apply for funding, and then that didn't go as planned. Planned? Okay. That didn't go as planned. But I think what was so different for me this time around was that I felt it in my core that I don't need, one, anyone's approval to do this, and two, the support that I dream of having when it comes to some of like my personal and creative and business endeavors will come, right? And I think working solo on my podcast production business side of things has just been a real big facilitator in my understanding that you are going to have to do things alone, and you're going to have to get comfortable doing things alone, right? So I feel like that initial education in that way, when it came to my podcasting business stuff, kind of prepared me to walk this journey on my own again, right? Because I'm like, okay, I started this thing last year where I said I'm going full in podcast production, right? And that's going to be my mission. That's going to be my ministry. That's going to be like what's paying my bills. And I'm going to put all my energy into that thing. And now to get to a place where I was like, okay, I'm going to start another project on top of this project that is picking up and taking off and consuming a lot of my time. I'm going to do this thing, another passion project, and I'm going to use this business thing to fund this other thing that I'm doing, which means I need a lot of money, and I need to make sure that this first thing works like a well-oiled machine, and the clients are consistent, and it's consistently bringing in the money, because I'm gonna need it for this other thing, right? And getting comfortable and trusting myself that I can do it, and also getting comfortable doing shit alone, because I think a lot of time we hold ourselves back because we're seeking approval from other people. We're waiting for some kind of like support from the universe or whatever, or like kind of like financial support. Although I do understand that like situations are different, and sometimes you do need some capital to start things. Like I am using my capital, my business income situation to kind of help me fund this thing. Like a lot of these things need capital, right? And sometimes it's just hard when you don't have any kind of capital, but you still need to start where you are with what you have, right? Because even for Coyi, I have such big dreams, and there's a lot that I would love to do, but this is the first installment, and we aren't that liquid yet, and just learning a lot in the journey that, you know, I'm just going to have to prioritize certain things over others, and the dream will grow, obviously. Maybe I also have big dreams, but I have to just use what I have currently right now at my disposal and be comfortable to walk this path on my own. And I think that's what low-key holds a lot of us back, because we're like, we don't have enough support, or we need some kind of encouragement or some motivation to get things started. But like literally my motto since I started this thing was, one, with the understanding of my current reality, that like I'm self-funding this thing, even though I have like such big dreams, and I have things that I would want to do, and certain experiences that I'd want participants in my club to experience. I know that like the nature, the reality of the situation is that we're not there yet. Secondly, it's also understanding my environment. Like I know that also there's a lot of trust that I have to build in this industry, because like this is the first time I'm like, hey guys, I'm a theater geek, and like I have something valuable to contribute into like this industry, right? I know that I'm not there yet. I know that there's a lot of proving myself that I have to do, and I feel like it's that way a lot within the creative spaces, but like that way in general. Like when you start a job, you start at entry level, right? And you have to kind of like prove yourself that you are capable, and that happens as you year in, year out, as you continue to grow and excel in the roles that like you are put in, or the spaces that you put in. So with that understanding as well, I am very clear that this first installment this year is just laying the foundation. It's more about like proving myself and like showing what I can do and what I can create within the space. So there's a whole lot of trust building that I feel like we're currently like doing right now. I guess that's what I'm getting at. So I think just being honest about where you are and where you are when you're starting the journey is really important. And I've done a good job of just like understanding where I'm at and understanding what needs to happen for this thing to be a success. I know that next year is not going to be like this year. I know that we're still starting out and a lot of things can change. I know that like a lot of people are excited about this program, and I'm so deeply grateful for the excitement, for the words of encouragement. Like when I first posted about it, I wanted to run and hide because everyone was just being so kind and so thoughtful. A lot of people who are even older, they were like, I wish I was in high school so I could participate. And I was like, that's so sweet. Like genuinely, my heart is deeply, deeply, deeply in this thing. And I feel like I'm using all my extra energy outside of podcast production and work in that front. I'm using it into ensuring that this thing is a success. So that being said, I just wanted to share a little bit about Coyi Drama Club, and I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And I'm gonna try edit. I didn't really edit the last time, and then when I listened back to it, the audio was kind of flimsy and I was like, ew. But also I need to get to a place where my entire systems are working together, because right now I feel like I'm just being pulled in different directions, that it's just hard. Certain things are getting what do you call it, less attention than they should, because they just like so low on my priority list that like it's just, I know the lighting was not as great, but I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I will talk to you guys soon. Also, I have lashes. How cute. Thank you. Bye. We have come to the end of yet another delightful episode. Please leave us a 5-star rating, and don't forget to share this episode with any of your friends. Until next time, bye.